Coming to you from that once-forgotten artery that pulses through the center of the continental United States and into the heart of the Ozarks, Grace Matthews. Looking in from the northern border, our Canadian friend, along with his countrymen feeling the effects of U.S. political issues, Connor Murphy.
Welcome to Dueling Dialogues, episode 169. I'm Connor Murphy here with Grace Matthews in Springfield, Missouri. Hi, Grace. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How about you?
Good. You know, it's a little kind of sad after a holiday weekend, you know, to get back in the groove.
Yeah, I'm sad because I overate.
Everybody overate. And everybody ate too much chocolate because...
You know what, though? I really like those holidays that are surrounded around food. You know, there's no gifts. There's nothing, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's Easter baskets for kids, but basically... you know, without all my kids here, it's kind of like a grown-up holiday, and so it's all about the food.
Yeah, just like Thanksgiving. It's like spring Thanksgiving.
And it is, exactly. Oh, yeah. Well, you know what I've been thinking about this morning?
What's that?
Do you remember back in the day when all the bands used to put out albums? You know?
Yeah.
Now they don't really put out like whole albums. And they would name them after whatever their tour was going to be.
Right.
And do you remember somebody put out Fantasy Tour? Now I have Googled that this morning and I'm getting all kinds of, I'm not getting what I want, you know?
Okay.
But I promise you that one of the bands that I liked had the Fantasy Tour. And I think it's very similar to what the Dems are doing. You know, these Dems that want to be on the ballot against Trump, you know, you got to wonder if they really want on the ballot against Trump or they want to run so they can sell another, you know, $1 to $4 million book, some of them even more. And, you know, what is their intentions? Because some of the stuff they're talking about is such pure fantasy.
Yeah, well...
If I was Trump, I would call it a hoax.
Well, you know why? Because they have AOC, and AOC is out there to lunch most of the time, and anything that they can come up with that is a fantasy is small compared to AOC's fantasy.
You got a point. Well, and then you know, they're going to come up with bigger fantasies when they start gasping for air. You know, they're drowning because the numbers are greater for, say, Bernie and Kamala and Mayor Pete and Biden, and you know, so you got somebody like Elizabeth Warren that says, "Oh, wait, don't forget about me."
Yeah. Well,
okay.
Yeah. I know. It's almost like. I don't know. How would you say it other than shit show right now?
Exactly. So, Elizabeth Warren, if your family makes under $100,000 a year, she wants to forgive $50,000 in student loan debt.
Okay.
Now, that would be if you went to a government-funded university, which is a good way of cutting out religious universities and colleges. So,
and where's that money coming from? Taxpayers?
She's going to. Well, this is something that is going to upset people. We normally pay income tax in the United States.
Right.
That means whatever you bring in this year, you pay taxes on this year. Now, if you've got money that you didn't spend from previous years, good for you, we don't tax it because you've already been taxed.
Okay. All
okay.
Right.
That would be double taxation,
right,
which is the big complaint about inheritance taxes, because that is double, sometimes quadruple taxation because your relatives, your family already paid taxes on it. But that's another discussion.
Right.
So that is considered a wealth tax. We don't really do wealth taxes. Now, here's the really scary thing about wealth taxes, and really, a lot of these people are talking about wealth taxes. They're not saying the word.
Right.
okay, because that doesn't go over well. But the wealth runs out. Okay.
Yeah.
And you can't go back and tax someone's wealth every year without eventually running out.
Or them moving.
We don't have, yeah, exactly. Now that does happen a lot too. They do. Good point. They do move. So, and if you pay off student loan debt, what about all these kids, for example, at our university, we have a bunch of these really fancy, smancy apartments. And they cost a lot of money every month. And these kids take out loans for their school, but they take out extra money so they can live well and not work. So that's a little bit of how they rack up some of that debt. Now, they are of an age, they're going into this, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. They know what they're doing. I think it's a crisis what's happening, but you can't say they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Okay? You've also got the question of, does everybody need to go to a 4-year school, or do some people need to go to a trade school? Okay?
Right, exactly.
Because they can save a lot of money. How about mentoring programs? Especially for things like plumbing.
Right.
And
then there's practicums too. A lot of occupations you have to do a practicum, and in some cases it's a paid practicum.
Yeah, well, that would be nice. They're never paid hardly around here, but in the cities they are.
Right.
So if you go to the city. The other thing is, does she not realize too that she wants attention because her numbers are down?
Right.
So she's brought this up so that the media will pay attention to her, and it works. It doesn't necessarily bring her numbers up. But when they talk about this, and they talk about Medicare for all, do they not realize that part of the reason the student loan debt program is in such bad shape is because it is ran by the government? Since 2010, it's been run by the government.
Yeah. Exactly.
When the government runs things, it doesn't work right.
Yeah.
Now, also, did we ever think about possibly making some of these schools with these large endowments help out with some of the student debt? Because
no kidding.
The kids have a lot of this debt and are living in their parents' basement is because the degrees they paid for after they get out of school, they're not earning enough.
Right.
Okay, to pay for that degree. So could that possibly, in a free market, mean that the universities are charging too much for certain degrees?
Oh, absolutely.
They've got a great deal of the wealth in the United States is sitting in university endowments.
Well, it's a great fantasy, like you said, Elizabeth Warren, coming up with this, but she's not fixing the problem. There's a problem there. That's why the debt is there. You're just covering it up, sweeping it under the rug.
Well, and we heard just 2 weeks ago, Maxine Waters, who's now head of the banking committee for the Congress, of all things, she was griping, I should say, bitching at the banks for causing the student loan debt. She didn't even realize that it went government in 2010. And actually, for a few years before that, it was mostly government.
Wow.
Right now, 99% of all student loans are government. Wow. I don't even know why there's 1% out there that's not. That's probably because I don't have a clue why. I'm not even going to guess.
Right.
But let's consider the fact that VA hospitals are ran by the government. Failure. Medicare, pretty much running out of money, will be out of money in 2023 because those people in Congress and the Senate borrowed money from it and it's broke. Medicaid's the same way. Social Security will only go till 2035 the way it is.
Wow.
Because these guys robbed money from it.
Right. Same thing in Canada.
It for other things. So do we really want to go to Medicare for all? And I just want to insert again, because unless you're on Medicare, you probably don't know that even after you've paid for it all these years through that tax deduction on your check that you don't get to say, well, I'm not going to want Medicare when I get old. Okay,
Right.
they take that out of your check no matter what. You still pay for it when you reach that age at the rate of $135 a month. That's what it is right now. Plus, you take a supplemental policy, and in Missouri, that supplemental policy is $165 a month. So if you think Medicare is free right now, it's not even close.
Right. Oh, hey, a friend of mine just bought a vehicle, and he named it Elizabeth Warren.
You're kidding me.
Well, it's a white Jeep, and on the side it says it's a Cherokee.
Oh, well, that's a good one.
Sorry, I had to slip that in before we moved on.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. I have to say. Okay, the fantasy goes on. We're talking Mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio. He wants to eliminate skyscrapers in New York City.
Oh, my.
Because he's going to go ahead and start this new Green Deal all by himself in New York City.
Okay. Good on you, Bill.
He's going to retrofit the ones that are already there. He wants to get rid of inefficient glass and steel.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure what he's going to use instead of glass and steel, but I'm more interested in his motives. First of all, if they go through and they retrofit and all new builds are going to be, part of the Green New Deal, who's going to be able to afford to live there? I mean, the numbers I have right now says that just to live in New York City in the worst hole they have and eat ramen noodles, you must make $86,000 a year.
Oh.
Okay?
Wow.
So, he's supposed to be a man of the people, for the poor people, for the minorities. And who can pay for this but the very, very rich?
Yeah. Has he been talking to AOC?
Well, he's sort of mad at AOC over the Amazon deal.
Oh,
But
right.
I
And
think
rightly so.
This could also be a hit on the Trump family because they own a lot of high rises in New York. And I believe Bill de Blasio is one of those people that has Trump derangement syndrome so bad that he would do this just to get back at the Trumps.
Oh, well, maybe we might see him run for president.
I'm wondering. He might as well get in. Everybody else is.
That's for sure. Well, one thing it's done, it's toned down some of those Trump derangement syndrome posts. Now they're splitting their time between, some of the other candidates like AOC. I would say 50% of the people with Trump derangement syndrome now support AOC.
I agree, but it's not looking rosy for her.
No.
Okay? Because she woke up this morning to some really, really bad numbers.
Oh.
Okay? 26% of the people that voted for her will not vote for her again. And I'm talking about in her district. Everybody else is much more amused by her.
The ones that could have had that Amazon job.
Exactly. They are not liking her one bit.
Rightly so.
Absolutely. So, as our fantasy tour continues, what about Kamala? She wants, Medicare for all. We just talked about that. But now she wants your guns.
Oh, okay.
And she says she will take them away with executive privilege.
Oh, well,
she's do that?
Yeah, she looks like she's shopping for a lot of votes. She knows she's in the United States, right?
I'm not sure whether she realizes that because she lived in Canada for a while,
Oh, well, there you go.
That explains it. But I'm thinking she just wants to be dictator, not president.
Yeah, pretty much. At that point, you're looking at a dictator. That's for sure.
You sure are. And the race is very full. We've got now 20 people on the Democratic ticket. Well, they're not on the ticket yet. They're trying to get on the ticket.
Right.
And they're all very, very left. I don't really see anybody that's a centrist. Now, Uncle Joe Biden would be the most centrist. However, prior to his stint with the Obamas, I kind of sort of think he was. I no longer believe he's centrist. I believe he's pretty left, pretty progressive. He was supposed to make the announcement to get in the race tomorrow, on Wednesday. It's now been moved to Thursday. He's going to make it on an internet tape. Doesn't that seem kind of weenie? I mean, he's not going to go someplace with a crowd of people around him,
right,
or on a television show that has millions of listeners. I'm not sure he is convinced himself he should get in this race.
I don't know. He's pretty hands-on.
He is definitely hands-on, but I think that Uncle Joe has a lot of baggage, and it's not just his hands.
Yeah.
I think the situation with Hunter Biden and other things like the Iran deal that he was certainly in on with Obama, I think it hurts him, and as far as his own party goes, I don't think he's left enough.
Yeah.
To get the nomination.
I think I would agree with you there.
And he's older.
Yeah.
He's pretty old. So my guess is if he gets in at all, he's not going to stay in long.
Right.
My gosh, he ran twice.
Yeah, I don't even think he's going to continue. There's just too much bad media for him right now.
Yeah, and really, he could cut his losses and still be nice Uncle Joe if he never stepped in.
Yeah, exactly.
And who's going to be his money? You know, I think the big money is going to go far left on the Democratic side.
Yeah, probably.
And those rich people, you can't run without some rich people.
Yeah.
Sad news. The Sri Lanka. How am I talking like that? Bombings on Sunday for worshipers, Easter worshipers, Christian worshipers. We're going to say both.
Right.
I mean, it seems very problematic that Hillary Clinton and Barack, both made statements that addressed Easter worshipers.
Yeah.
You don't want to say Christian.
And you don't want to say Catholic. Yeah. How interesting.
Now, when they said that, no one had yet claimed responsibility. I will say, as of this morning, ISIS have claimed responsibility. A lot of people are jumping to a conclusion, which they may very well have information that leads them to the conclusion, but that this was payback for New Zealand Christchurch bombing of the synagogue, of the temple, the Islamic temple. I don't know whether ISIS said that or people are saying that. I don't know.
Right.
But good grief.
Horrible.
You know, let's say
horrible.
There is definitely a war on Christianity and Catholicism, and I will tell you right now, this Pope isn't helping anything.
Yeah, I haven't even heard any statements about the Sri Lanka thing from the Pope.
You know, I haven't either. But what I did hear this morning is the Washington Times has reported the Vatican makes history. The Pope allows Islamic prayers and Quran readings in the Vatican. I will tell you that people on my Twitter feed are incensed. I mean, they think he's the very devil himself now.
Wow.
I think it is totally inappropriate.
Well, you got to think it on the flip side. Do you think that they would allow Bible readings in this, in their mosques? I don't think so.
Or Torah reading, absolutely. Of course not.
Right.
And why is this Pope pandering so much to Muslims. I mean, doesn't he have his hands full with all the Catholics and all the chaos in the Catholic Church?
Yeah. Yeah, and a declining congregation.
Oh my gosh. And yeah, by a lot. I mean, it's amazing. And I don't know. I'm not Catholic, but I tell you what, that bothers me.
It bothers me. Just the whole concept bothers me.
Yeah. And, we definitely do not want a war on Christianity or Judaism. We don't want a war on any religion.
No, stop it, people.
Yeah, it's just wrong. Okay, remember the brothers that were paid to attack Jussie Smollett and pretend they were MAGA loving, Trump loving white guys?
Yeah.
Well, they are suing. They are suing the attorneys of Jussie Smollett, which includes Garagos, okay? They said they got on TV, Jussie Smollett's attorneys got on TV and defamed them. And now they can't work. People hate them. I mean, I think it was kind of bad that they took money to, create this hoax anyway. But they have a point.
Absolutely.
About being defamed. But I think the good news is Jussie Smollett, unless this case, doesn't go to court for whatever reason, maybe they come to a settlement, he will have to decide, am I going to get on that stand and stick to my lie and commit perjury? Or am I going to tell the truth?
Yeah.
Either way, he's screwed.
Yeah, pretty much. I have a feeling they'll settle. Because he's going to be the star witness. Yeah. I have a feeling they'll settle, and some of that money's going to come out of Smollett's pocket.
Somehow, some way, I think you're right, and as it should.
Right.
But I'm sure hoping he has to testify.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Okay. Now, here's something that we have been afraid of. Okay? I don't know if you've went to the doctor. I don't know if it's like this in Canada, but lately at the doctor's office, they went to record your hand.
Oh.
Okay.
What?
Instead of face recognition here, they want to do your hand. And I've nicely said, no, I don't want to do that. And they've said, okay. The reason is that mistakes happen. Okay?
Yeah.
And because these are databases that are shared by gosh knows who,
right.
I mean, you don't know who's going to share that database. It's very dangerous. Proof positive is a teenager has sued Apple for $1 billion because he's been falsely accused, he was falsely arrested for faulty face recognition.
What?
Let me tell you, it is really ugly. I had a friend, and her husband's car got stolen, okay?
Right.
Cops find the car after a few days. The insurance company fixes it. And, it's like a bad thing that happened, but, it's over with. 2 months later, the cops come and cuff him and arrest him in front of his children, saying he raped a woman.
Oh, my.
He had to get attorneys. They basically went broke. And later they go, oh, excuse me, it's who stole your car that night.
Oh, wow.
And still today, if you Google him, what comes up?
Wow.
His mugshot.
Well, sounds like he needs to get a lawsuit going, too. Wow. Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it is really, really terrible.
Wow.
So, back to AOC. We'll just talk about her twice. A rich donor wants her out.
Yeah, I saw that. She's not happy about that.
No, she is not. And I haven't seen whether he cares whether it's a Republican or a Democrat. And I'm saying it might be a woman. I think that many of us are happy about that.
Yeah, well, I'm really tired of seeing her face. Like I said, half of the people that had TDS are posting AOC stuff, which just makes me gag. I mean, she is an actress that's been hired by the Justice Democrats. And if you look into it, it's very, very, very disturbing what that group is trying to do to American politics.
It is, but I can tell you right now that there are new hats out. They look sort of like the MAGA hats. And it says, make Ocasio-Cortez a bartender again.
I love it.
It is. They're pretty cute. So.
Yeah, we have the same hats in Canada. It's make Trudeau a drama teacher again.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. That would help you guys out a lot.
Oh, it would. It's coming. It's coming. October.
Oh. Well, October seems like a long time sometimes.
Oh, you have no idea.
Yeah, he can spend a lot of money by October.
And he is. He's. I think he's up to 4-point-something billion since his scandal started. So he's trying to essentially, distract by throwing money everywhere.
Yeah.
Except where it should be going.
Yeah. Laura Ingraham, she just keeps kind of stepping on it. You know, she's on Fox. She has her show comes on at like 9 o'clock my time, I think. But she said a couple of things after Parkland. Got her in trouble, got her blacklisted by a lot of the advertisers. And, many of us didn't think she was going to make it out of that, but she did. Okay, she's been off the air for this week. I mean, was it a planned vacation or not? I don't know. I'd say it's a convenient vacation. Because last week, on the heels of the rapper Nipsey Hussle's funeral, she started laughing. Now, I don't know what she was laughing about, and it really doesn't seem obvious to me that she's laughing about the funeral. It's sort of like, sometimes things happen. I mean, sometimes things happen when we're doing this, and you're laughing at something. You're not laughing at the story, you know. So, and I'm not a big Laura Ingraham fan, so I'm not taking up for her. I think they might be able to pick better people, but she's been off the air this week. She's had fill-ins. Jon Voight, the actress, is in support of her.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how much of this she can take. I mean, they've got Tucker, who's boycotted more not because he does faux pas like her and make fun of people and insult them, but because of stories he does.
Right.
So I kind of think that the Tucker Carlson blacklist is different than the Laura Ingraham blacklist, because she has gotten on the blacklist for very sensitive situations like Parkland shooting.
Right.
Nipsey Hussle's funeral. I mean, come on, I don't know. But my guess is she's on a thin line.
Soon there won't be anybody left at Fox. That's
true. Well, and they're getting some competition. One America is becoming more powerful. Sinclair, if you have them in your market, you don't have to pay for them. They're not on cable, and they're becoming very powerful. Now, I don't have them in my market. I wish I did. Newsmax is becoming more mainstream. So thank goodness, because the only game in town is not necessarily good, because we're talking about freedom of speech. We're talking about keeping censorship away. We're talking about a conservative voice, which needs to be out there. So just one voice is not good.
Right.
So I'm glad they have competition.
Yep.
And of course, there's lots of people out here like us that people do get their news from. And I got to give a shout out to Florida. They're starting to love us in Florida. Thank you.
Oh, cool. Right on.
So we're happy about that. Now, this is a particularly sensitive situation for me. It just so happens that 33% of packaged gluten-free stuff that you eat isn't really gluten-free.
Whoa.
Now, first of all, it's very expensive. Secondly, this is very dangerous. Now, this is two different reports. One report claimed that. Another report said restaurants lie about gluten-free.
Wow.
Now, I have ran into a couple of chefs that say, oh, I just put a little flour on the grill.
Right. I've heard that before, too.
Yeah. And I'm like, no little flour. Now,
Yeah.
I get like, the belly button twist, but I've got a friend, her husband can't even drink beer, and apparently he tries to sneak beers,
Oh, wow.
because she is that allergic.
Wow. Okay.
So it's really criminal. If you can't make it gluten-free, and if you can't be sure, don't say it is.
Yeah, sounds like we need somebody to step in and crack down on that for sure.
Yeah.
Especially anything to do with people's health. That should be definitely looked into more.
Well, believe it or not, people can die from that. It's
Yeah.
kind of like the peanut allergies.
Yeah, I have friends that
died.
Yeah, as well as you, I have other friends that are very, very sensitive to it.
Yeah.
And go through some serious health issues if they do have any gluten.
Absolutely.
And like you said, all it takes is that sprinkle of flour.
Yeah. And I understand they put it on the grill to keep stuff from sticking. I understand why they do it. And there are gluten-free flours you can use to do that with. It'll work the same.
Exactly.
But if you can't and you don't have it and you have put that on the grill, just say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Just say it. And I think more and more, especially after a few studies like this, you're going to see more and more people sue over that.
Right.
And they will win because you lied to them.
Absolutely.
And it's dangerous. So, okay, very good article. It's very long, so we won't go into every single detail. But the USA Today, the April 19th edition, did an article on counties where the American dream may already be dead. You heard us talk a lot about that, especially in relationship to the Trump movement.
Right.
Why people supported Trump. There were a lot of counties in the Carolinas.
Right.
A lot in Georgia, Alabama, North Dakota, except for a New Jersey county. You can really look at this list and see that it was basically Trump country.
Right.
I was surprised that the only one in Missouri was St. Louis County, but that's happened just since the riots a few years ago. So that is really people are suffering.
Yeah.
But they did it based on children. How many children are living in poverty?
Right. Wow.
So, and what the income was, it's just crazy. A lot of these places have, I'm looking at one right here, East Carroll Parish in Louisiana. 48% of that county is in poverty.
Ouch.
The annual household income is $18,000.
Now, has it ever been better?
They suggest that it has. The way the article's written, yes. I do not have proof of that, though.
Right. Okay.
For example, in St. Louis City County, 25% poverty rate. Now, the household income there is about $30,000, which is the same as here where I live in Springfield.
Right.
The really sad part is the unemployment rates are good in all these counties. These are working poor and working homeless people, which is something I mention all the time.
Yeah.
When it comes to California, New York City. You assume those are lazy ass people that aren't working, and let me tell you, that's not always the truth. And now, sometimes I wonder, why don't you move? But gosh, if you can't get them, it costs money to move.
Yeah, exactly.
It does, and everything costs money. Everything is getting so expensive. Just like a couple of minutes ago before we started the show, we were griping about celery.
Yeah, almost $6 here in Canada.
Well, it's $3 here, and I'm all upset about that.
Yeah, and we're paying almost $9 for a gallon of gas.
Yeah, and see, gas is going up because of the situation with Iran.
Right.
But our doctors are getting crazy.
Oh?
Yeah. 1 in 4 government NHS doctors suffer from mental health illness. 1 in 4, 25%. Is this a indication of all doctors, especially since Obamacare took over?
It's driven them nuts. Yeah.
Or is this just government doctors? Either way, it's not a good sign. It's not a good indicator of what could happen with Medicare for everyone.
Right.
Which we're going to do a whole show on in the very near future.
Okay.
It's just scary, I don't know if I want my doctor crazier than me.
Yeah, I know. That's a scary thought for sure.
But I'm a little worried about you guys up there in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
48% of Canadians are on the brink of financial collapse. What's going on? Tell us.
Taxes, and more taxes. Taxes on top of taxes. There's so many taxes here that they're taxing taxes. I'm not kidding. Carbon tax is put onto fuel, and then there's a goods and services tax put on top of that. So I'm not lying when I'm saying they're taxing taxes already. So this carbon tax has basically raised the price of food. Like I said, celery's like $6.
Oh my gosh!
Just your average little items have gone up $1 or $2.
I bet you can't wait for your garden.
Yeah. If the weather ever decides to get a little warmer, it'd be nice.
Of course, you probably don't grow celery. I don't grow celery.
No, it's too hot here, I think, in the summer, and it just turns woody. So nobody wants a woody celery.
No, but I like a crunchy one.
Yeah, you'd have to have a beaver chew it for you first. It gets very, very hard. It's kind of funny.
Celery is so satisfying. I mean, especially if you try not to eat chips and a lot of crap. You need that crunch,
Right. Well,
and it's a great anti-inflammatory. If you have an inflammatory disease, it truly, truly does. And I shouldn't say that because more people buy celery, we won't ever be able to afford it.
Yeah, stop buying celery. It's not good for you, people.
Yeah, it's terrible. But we love our celery.
We can agree there.
Yeah, but we don't always agree. But life's a journey. We're all in this together. Thanks for listening. Godspeed, Connor. Godspeed to all of our friends out there.
Godspeed, Grace, and everyone, thanks for listening.